Hello, welcome to the John Gaunt podcast, the John Gaunt broadcast. Doing one on a Saturday. What's going on? I haven't even had a shave. We've got to react to what's happened overnight with Trump and J.D. Vance and, of course, Zelensky. And I see Zelensky is now in London. He's in number 10 Down Street talking to Starmer because tomorrow's the big meeting of all the European leaders. I don't know what he's hoping they'll do because they've done jack all, haven't they, for the last 3 years. Got a situation at the moment where Poland and Germany are saying they won't join a peace force. So I don't understand why Zelensky's coming, because Europe is not going to defend him. Well, we probably are. And a very good friend of mine, Dougie Brimson, served in the Falklands, of course, the author. He just put up a great tweet which says, I hope Starmer and the government have thought about the body bags coming back to Bryce Norton. That's what I was talking about as well last night, Dougie. I am scared stiff about this. We're going to end up fighting a war that is nothing to do with us. We could have made peace. Peace should have been made. Donald Trump, whether you disagree with everything else, you've got to agree with this, surely. The war could have been stopped when Biden was in power. He should have put pressure on Zelensky to stop it. Instead, he refused to send troops, but he sent loads of military equipment. This war has gone on and on and on. Thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people have died on both sides. And the big word I heard last night constantly from Donald Trump was peace. Whereas I think Zelensky is beginning to take the peace. He came to that meeting, as far as I could see, and I've watched it all, and it's very important you watch the whole 50 minutes because there's clips out there which tell a different story. You might still say I'm wrong, and that's perfectly okay. And if you want to say I'm wrong tonight, perfectly okay as well. Get your messages in. I've got Pip, I've got Andy, and I've got Kevin. I'll be coming to you in a moment, I promise you. But my point is this. I think Zelensky, he got a deal. Did you hear what Trump said? He got a deal with Trump for the minerals and he was going to get the backup and the rest of it. And then I think he thought he was cock of the walk. He actually thought he was in a dominant position against Putin. La, 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 la. I've got America on my side. And Trump wants none of that. And the very way that he behaved last night, eventually having to be thrown out of the White House, no matter what the mainstream media is telling you, the BBC, Sly News with their propaganda, because they all sounded the same this morning. I was up at 5 because the dog got me up. So I'm still at my daughter's, as you can see. I've watched all the news channels, listened to all the radio today, looked at the papers on the internet. I don't buy them anymore. And they're all singing from the same hymn sheet, which is this. Trump bad, Trump evil, J.D. Vance moron, Zelensky hero. Well, he is a hero. He's a war hero on one level. I can take that. But I think he thought he had the top hand last night, and I think he tried to push home that advantage, and Trump wasn't having it. Trump wanted him to say thank you and show some gratitude for what they've done already, and Zelensky wasn't playing ball. He then got thrown out of the White House. But the story is all about Trump and Vance bullying him. Was that bullying him? Or was that saying, we've given you billions and billions of pounds. There's questions over dollars. There's questions over where some of that money has gone. We need you to account for yourself. And a bit of gratitude wouldn't go amiss. Also, I mean, I know that idiot asked him about why he wasn't wearing a suit, but you should show respect, shouldn't you? If you're in the White House, you should be in a suit. What do you think? I'm a scruffy git. Look at me today. But different situation. So I'm sorry. I'm against the mainstream on this. I also put a tweet out late last night basically saying, it didn't take long for the usual suspects to be clutching their pearls and saying the end of the world is nigh. They've wanted to get Trump for the last 4 weeks. Since he took over, they've been looking for the gotcha moment. They now think they've got it. They've forgotten that he's sort of almost brought peace to Israel and with the Hamas terrorists. He's moved that along. He's moved this Ukrainian. Nobody else had the idea of the mineral deal. And that deal, by all accounts, both sides are saying this, was signed. It just had to be delivered. It just had to be them shaking hands in the official photograph. Zelensky then pushed the envelope, and Trump wasn't going to have it. And particularly Vance. I had some Burke today. He's been on that blowing GB News this afternoon. I've forgotten his name, the ginger-haired one. He said, oh, what is he? Having a go at Vance. I said, Vance was brought up in poverty in the Appalachian Mountains. He was a hillbilly, right? His mum was a smackhead. I don't think his dad was there much of the time. He pulled himself up by his own bootstraps and he got himself into one of the top universities. I can't remember if it was Yale or Harvard, right? I've read his book. It's a brilliant book before he became the vice president. He is the American hero. Then he was in the military. So how can some pipsqueak? I looked up his Matthew, I can't remember his name, the ginger-haired one. You know the one I'm talking about. I looked up his Wikipedia. He went to public school, then he went to Cambridge, and then he got a job at the BBC. You literally couldn't make it up. And he's having a go at J.D. Vance. Vance was upset last night. He was the most upset out of both of them. If you watch the whole thing, Trump hardly says anything, relatively. But Zelensky, he just decided, I'm going to push the envelope. I'm blaming him. Now, if you think I'm wrong, tell me. I'd like to know why he's come to London, because the meeting isn't until tomorrow, but he's come. And then the other thing that I'm very, very concerned about is the use of King Charles as a political pawn. He's now going to meet King Charles tomorrow. That's wrong. This lousy Labour government are using the king as a political person. That's not on. It's not on. I mean, I know they gave Trump the royal visit, but he is the leader of America, yes. And I'm keen on that. But Zelensky, and isn't it just another way of winding up Trump? What's the point of that? And what about Starmer? He can't even provide security to us, not just on the borders, not just at Dover, but women and girls are now afraid to go out at night because of the rapists, the muggers and the thugs that he's letting run riot on the street. Yes, the tourists did it as well, but we're letting people out of prison. We got rapists left, right and centre. So how the hell is he going to defend Ukraine against Russian aggression? I don't think there will be any. That's a separate issue. But I just want to ask you this one thing. Just think this through for a minute. How can Europe defend Ukraine? Germany have already said they won't. They won't even send peacekeeping troops. Same with Poland. Everybody else has kept quiet, right? Interesting, isn't it? But Sir Keir Starmer has said, oh, yeah, we'll send our boys. Well, I'll ask you this, Sir Keir, on behalf of Dougie Brimson. You'll be there, will you? Putting the body bags on our boys, will you? You think our boys will go and fight for you in this war? I think after what's happened in recent history, I think there could be real trouble about that, Keir. And I know you're going to say, oh, they're not going to fight. They're a peacekeeping force. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And they never get killed, do they? By accident or by design or whatever. It's obvious what will happen. We'll get involved and then we'll be involved in the fighting. How do we get involved in Northern Ireland? I know it's slightly different, but it's a kind of same thing, isn't it? If you know your history. And that's what scares me. And we've got somebody as inexperienced as Starmer now playing Billy Big Balls as if he's the great statesman. He ain't Winston Churchill. He's not even Churchill out of the insurance ads, as I always say. He is now the key player. Well, if you believe the BBC. But even, what's it called? Talk TV, not Talk TV, GB News. They were parroting. I watched that Michael Portillo this morning, who I like his shows about trains, but he was on with Ann Diamond doing breakfast. Ann Diamond was saying, oh, well, yeah, it's terribly wrong. I mean, who does Trump think he is? Blah, blah, blah. She said, but I must admit, a lot of our viewers disagree with me and you, Michael. You bet they disagree with you because this is a revolution that's happening. People have realized the establishment, it's just one big charade. It's just a game to them. They ain't interested in me and you. And what Trump does when he invites the press in and the internet press and everybody else, he breaks that bubble, that secrecy. It's almost as groundbreaking as when the royal family had that documentary made about them in the 60s. It changed. They became different to us. We didn't have them in such awe, which was a good thing, but also a bad thing. But that's what's happening, because a lot of these people, Emily Maitlis, right, the news agents, I wouldn't let her work in a frigging news agent, let alone have a show where people buy tickets to go and see her live, her and that John Sopel. Why would you do that? I've got to do a tour. But anyway, by the by, she was one of the pearl clutches last night and early this morning. The world was over because Trump was playing up. Trump was causing trouble. No, Trump was saying, don't disrespect my office of president. Don't disrespect the United States flag. Don't disrespect American patriots or come and do the work for you. Don't do that. And I'm going to give you billions of pounds. And this idea that he's ripping out all these minerals, it's a commercial arrangement. We're just giving them money that we could be giving to our pensioners, our farmers, our students, ourselves. We're all skint. But Sir Keir Starmer thinks he's a cross between Willy Wonka and a charity worker. Well, he is anyway. And now I'm going to go to your texts and your views. If you want to join in, you've got a different view, especially want to hear from people who think I'm talking rubbish, but I'm pro-Trump on this. Absolutely, 100%. I want Zelensky to come back he will come back to the table because he has to. Because as I was just saying to you, Europe can't do it for him. He can't do it for himself. So he'll end up saying, excuse me, Mr. Trump, please help me. It's wrong what's going on. And it's wrong that Trump is getting vilified again. It's absolutely wrong. There was no news outlets, no radio outlets, no newspapers, nowhere saying, well, actually, there's two sides to this story. And then it came out later that if you listen to the 50-minute coverage, it's a completely different thing. And then it came out that Trump had actually kicked him out of the White House, said, you can go on your way. We didn't even get a meal. Well done, Donald Trump. And can you imagine if you're an American, you live in, like I said to you before with Roseanne, you live in middle America and you suddenly realize all your tax dollars are going left, right, and centre. It's a bit like us. We're beginning to realise where all our money's going. We can't afford foreign aid, full stop. There's all this thing about, we're going to cut it this so we can pay on our defence. They can't defend us. And the other thing, this final thing before I go on to this, onto you lot, is when they say it's not the way to do it. All of these discussions should have been behind closed doors. Well, to a certain extent, yes. But also, isn't it really interesting when you get passion, when you get your leader, the president of the free world, saying you're taking it? Stop it. I ain't having it. Do you hear me? I'm not having it. Get out. You're not having any tea. Get out. You're not having any tea. You can come back when you can show some respect. Donald wants peace. Somebody else is taking the peace. Ned664, Europe can't defend Ukraine. Simple. Without the US, we are nothing. I know it's terrible to say, but I think you're right, my friend. That was on Twitter. On YouTube, Pip Tomlinson. I keep forgetting I can do this, can't I? Pip Tomlinson says, I think Zelensky. If you're listening on the podcasts, when we're doing it on the telly, you can actually see the comments that are coming up on the screen. I remembered to do it. I think Zelensky overplayed his hand yesterday, John, and came across as entitled. I agree. Having said that, I found J.D. Vance's behaviour disgraceful. Which bit? Because, was it him who kicked it off or was it Zelensky? I don't know. These things should be conducted behind closed doors. Well, yeah, we were just talking about that, weren't we? I'm not sure. I think it's been quite revealing to see this out in the open. Andy says the world has become, it's on YouTube, a much more dangerous place after the events that happened yesterday. Well, yes, I agree. But whose fault is it? That's what we need to pin down tonight. Keep up the fantastic podcasts, says Kevin Routley on Facebook. I will, Kevin. Have you contributed? Send me a $5. Come on, it's easy. Or 15 on buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. That'd be nice. Or become a member of my YouTube page. That's 99p or $2.99 if you want to be a super fan. And if you're watching now, keep pressing the like button. It helps the algorithm. And do the same thing if you're listening to the podcast. Always like and share. Yeah. The liking is very important. And the sharing is because then it spreads like wildfire. Have you seen these little shorts? I'm not doing them myself, but this AI thing I've got is now cutting my videos down. So you're getting like 35, 40 seconds bits, right? 10 of them each time. So there'll be some of those around tonight. They're going like hot cakes. It all publicizes the work. Right. We all laughed at Russia. Oh, sorry. I forgot to do this. We all laughed at Russia using donkeys on the front lines, but Russian donkeys deployed to the Oval Office made a whole lot of difference. Oh, you're very witty, mate. I tell you what, J.D. Vance has probably farted out more brains than you've got. So don't call them thick. Don't call Donald Trump thick either. I don't like it. Zelensky wanted more money out of the deal. Well, that's Rick Medlock. Hello, Rick. Yeah, that is what's coming out, that he wanted more cash. Well, he's got to really, Rick, account for the cash he's had so far, hasn't he? I think that's perfectly legitimate because Biden wasn't keeping a check on where the money was going. And so now he's got Elon Musk and he's got J.D. Vance and he's got that other geezer, the Asian American guy. They want to know where the money's gone. And that's fair, isn't it? If you lent me some money, Rick, and I said I was going to do something with it and I didn't do it, you wouldn't be too happy. Got a view? Get on the old today, please. What's that say? Woof, woof, says Rick Medlock. Don't know what that's about. Oh, about the dog. Jamie McFarlane. Hello, John. Hello, Jamie, on Facebook. Why don't you say something? Because we'd like to have your views. Yorkshire Mick. Loads of people getting in touch today. Thank you. I didn't know if anybody be watching. Then I remembered the mighty Sky Blues were playing Oxford at lunchtime, weren't they? And we won. So well done to the boys and well done to Super Frank. I've got egg on my face on that. I said it would never work. And I've obviously wrong, so I can apologize. That's what you've got to do, Zelensky. Apologize. And what do you think he's clothes? Do you think he's got 15 different sweatshirts? Because if he doesn't, it'd stink, wouldn't he? Indecision is worse than making the wrong decision. That's a good point, Mick. The whole of NATO are spineless, or were. They should have defended Ukraine from day one or allowed Putin to take the effing lot. We have prolonged this crap through fear of Russia and their aging military. Hi, hokey, cokey, Mick in Leeds. Mick, you're making a really good point. A really good point. We let them down, all of us. We let them down. But I don't think there's any appetite in this country. I mean, my kids are probably too old now to go, and I wouldn't want them to go anyway. But I think a lot of people are saying, no, we ain't sending any peacekeepers. So Starmer can make any decisions he wants, unless, of course, his son is the first one on the front line. Do you reckon that'll happen? Two hopes. Bob Hope, no hope. The unpalatable truth that Starmer and the EU won't tell you is that Russian missiles are taking out 500 to 1,000 troops at a time. Another Tony Blair war that the UK bleeds blood for what? Free speech, free local elections, homes for veterans. What we get is grannies threatened with doors kicked in for social media posts by the police, local elections banned, pensioners' energy allowance scrapped, highest tax in 100 years, etc., etc., etc. Nigel Britton, that is the best tweet we've had so far. Thank you very much indeed for it. The captain's on. The Captain Gatso. Good to have you on board, my friend. You found me at last. The USA mineral deal would put USA companies in Ukraine. That's better than troops, as they're less threatening to Putin. But if he invaded again and then put Americans in danger, Trump would not hold back. Yeah, I think that's what he kind of said that the other night in between this row. He was saying, well, because I'm going to put American firms in there, the Russians won't dare invade. I think he's probably right. But thinking a bit more about the Starmer, how come they're making out Starmer's this great statesman? It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. He's the last person working, basically. The Germans have buggered it. Oh, I see that Olaf, who's just got booted out of Germany, he was saying, oh, Ukraine can rely on us. I can't rely on you, mate. You've just been voted out. Nigel Gordon, to buy the PM a new suit. What's that? He doesn't buy his own suits. What do you want about? What do you want about? Lord Ali gets them. Ooh, shoots you, sir. Suits you, sir. Tracy Louise Apps. It's disgusting. The Queen would not have been used like this. Tracy, I think that's a very good point. Because what's actually happening now, the Labour government are using our king, our constitutional monarch, as a political tool. That's not on. That's not on. And I think we should object in the strongest possible terms. It's Macron and Starmer that are the warmongers. Oh, Tracy's on a run now, and she's got another one here as well. So proud of Trump and Vance. And then the final one she's got is, she's revolting. Who's revolting? But I think they're all good points. Thank you very much indeed for them. If you want to make a point, get writing it in and I'll read them out for you. Starmer is embarrassing and duplicitous. I haven't put it up. Sorry, I keep forgetting to do it. I do apologize. Hold on. There we are. Starmer is embarrassing and duplicitous, so I agree. Macron is on the way out anyway, so is of no significance. It's also Italia. The Italians, they're not interested either. They're not going to put any troops in. The way I feel about yesterday was simple in the fact of the following. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have turned the Oval into a circus. So he's a bit critical of it, in my opinion. If I wanted Donald Trump to win the election, I wanted Donald Trump to win the election, so I'll put that out there. Absolutely do all the pleasantries in the Oval Room, but general questions should be after all parties have sat privately and aired their dirty laundry in private. That way, everyone would be on the same page. Well, like I said earlier, I can see that argument. Although I've quite enjoyed it all being out in the open. The captain's come back. Zelensky said yesterday that he would like to join NATO. He'll be the only one in it. Most countries say no. Then he said, was second best is to have NATO troops in Ukraine. I can see that happening, Captain, i.e. UK and French troops. Zelensky doesn't want peace. Well, that's kind of where today I'm here. I went for a big long walk with the dog and I did all my chores that I've got to do. She's coming back tomorrow night, so I want to get the house tidy for her. It's my birthday Monday. So she won't give me no leeway just because it's my birthday. She'll still be hammering me if I've not left the place tidy. So, but because I've been doing that and because I've been walking, I've been thinking. And I'm so disappointed. And I hate Starmer. He's useless. But the idea that they were kind of suggesting he might pull something off. He might be the honest man. Oh, honest, who brings the sides together. It'd be insufferable. It'd be impossible if that happens. But I can't see it. I mean, I know Trump said all those nice things about him, but part of that was him taking the PISS, wasn't it? The line about nice suits, right? Because that's him having a go about Lord Ali. What else did he say? Nice voice, lovely voice. That's the acting thing, isn't it? Trump was funny, and Trump is funny. And you see, people are now having a go at him. It wasn't really Trump who lost it last night. It was J.D. Vance. But that's what you want in a number two, isn't it? That's why some people are great number twos at football, useless at being a manager. Some managers are no good when they lose the number two. I'm thinking maybe of Mark Robbins. I wouldn't say he was useless, but he wasn't as good. Cloughy and Taylor. Do you see what I mean? And star players don't necessarily become star managers. I like using my football analogies. Starmer, what time is it? 24 minutes already. No script. I'm brilliant. Starmer is just virtue signaling. Look at me and how grand I am. He has no idea. If Russia was such a military threat, they'd have run all over the Ukraine before Biden and others got involved, or before Biden woke up, more like. Very fair point. Very, very fair point. And he hasn't, has he? Although enough people have died. I told you, I've been to Russia twice. It's a great country. And I went there with all the preconceptions, thinking they were like, the only thing that was right was all the blokes do look like pigs, the young blokes, and all the women look gorgeous, right? That was the only cliche that was true. Everything else was completely different. I loved it. Oh, man alive, the architecture, the nightclubs, the nightlife. You think, what? There's pubs, and everyone's out on the jar. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I really liked St. Petersburg. I went there with a very, very good friend of mine. Sonia Zelensky is a puppet for the last American administrations. You mean Biden? This one's having a go at me. Well, not having a go at me. She's disagreeing with me. She's fine. On YouTube, Sonia Hold'em. Calm down, dear. I don't agree with you. That's all right. Tell me why you don't agree with me, and we can have a discussion. Jackie Ward. I love Gaunty when he's got fire in his belly. I certainly have got fire. I tell you what I did last night. I went to the local boozer. I was sitting here on my own. I've been on my own all week. And I thought, I'll take the dog to the pub and see how he likes it. He loved it. I'm going to have a word with my Rosie. I reckon she's been nipping in there. It was like early doors. It was heaving. Everyone loved the dog. I took a chew with me, not for me, for the dog and some little biscuits, and just chilled out. Only 2 beers. Lovely. Don't you love early doors? It's like the unexpected beer is the best one, isn't it? Oh, it's a fact. Where are we? I love Gaunty when he's got fire in his belly. Yes, thank you very much. If you love me that much, buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. What's this one? Zelensky can't win. His only hope is to negotiate with Russia. Well, you can see why now Trump didn't want him in the room. He'd have a go at Putin. That's what Trump understands, whether you like him or not. He knows how to do a deal. And when he threw his toys out the pram, spat out his dummy last night, Zelensky, I thought, well, that just proves that Trump was right. Until he's got it down the line, he doesn't want you in the room. That's the way it is, pal. He's paying the wages. I thought the deal had been done behind closed doors at the press conference. Zelensky tried it on, and rightly so, got slapped down. Rick, that is exactly right. That is how it happened. The deal for the minerals is done. Is absolutely done. And like yesterday was meant to be a bit of lunch, bit more of a chat, right? And then picture of Donald doing that signature that's been bugging me for days. If anybody knows, let me know. Why does he sign everything with what are they called, a Sharpie, those pens? Why does he do that? Weird. But then I saw Prince Charles's, but his will be a fountain pen. But he's got this big elaborate signature as well. I wish I had good handwriting. Handwriting, learning a language, and playing a musical instrument, the 3 things I've messed about with at school and I've regretted for the rest of my life. Zelensky can't win. His only hope is to negotiate. Sorry, I just read that out. So here's another one. That was from Ronnie Hurst. Zelensky stole our money. Now he wants World War III, says Rosseth22. We should support Ukraine. That's we should support Ukraine. That's not our problem. I don't quite understand what you're saying there, mate, but if you want to explain it to me, I'll read it out again. Maybe I'm just reading it too fast. I don't like the fact Zelensky refuses to wear a suit, and I also don't understand how he's suddenly become a millionaire over the past 3 years. Yeah, I was reading today in one of the papers, one of their internet sites, that he's got 14 houses. I thought that's nonsense. That's propaganda. That can't be true. He's got 14 houses all around the world. Huh? And then he says he's not a dictator. I'm sure he's not. I'm sure he's a lovely bloke. Anyway, Rosseth again. Mate, see if I understand this one. EU, Starmer, and the rest of the woke nonsense are stupid. Thank you very much indeed. Let me go for some other ones. People haven't been on already. They should make that series Billy Liar again. Starmer could be the star. I tell you, I love that play. And I love the film. Is it Tom Courtenay in that? Huh? He works at the funeral directors, doesn't he? Brilliant. Oh, I love all those films. Spring and Port Wine, the one where she gets pregnant and she can't eat the kipper, that one. I love all of them. Billy Liar. Then in later ones are things like Kes, aren't they? We made some brilliant films. BlackRock owns the west of Ukraine. Oh, I keep forgetting to push the button. Sorry. BlackRock own the west of Ukraine. Russia own the minerals in the east. That's true. I've read about that. And have agreed to mine the minerals with Trump. That's why the EU are throwing their toys out of the pram. What? Because they're not getting a slice. Yeah, it all comes down to money in the end, doesn't it? Andy says Ukraine fought for independence. So then it's like someone invading us and letting them keep the land they've taken. Somebody said to me it'd be like Britain being invaded and then them wanting to keep Wales. I made the point there. Welcome. No, I didn't. I was just joking. I've got a lot of Welsh friends. So anyway, thank you very much. Let's not forget that Zelensky is under tremendous pressure. That's a good point. At home to secure a deal to help protect Ukraine, but also seeing his people dying after 3 years of war that he didn't start. We must never forget Putin invaded Russia. Well, he didn't invade Russia, he invaded Ukraine, but I know what you mean. That is a very, very good point indeed. Within all of this tonight, we must remember they got invaded. Russia are the baddies in this, right? Now, Russia would say it was because NATO and the EU wanted to expand east, and they said they never would. Then they did. That's what they would say. However, Russia did invade. So let's put that point out there. Let's be straight about that. But that's the other bit I don't understand. He's obviously not going to get that land back. So there's no point in making a fuss about it. You've got to move on. I know that sounds callous. That's my view. Rick Medlock, he says, I love early doors. There's a surprise. Lovely Lamb Lunch. I like your name. He should at least have worn a suit. It's disrespectful. Thank you very much. I've got to tell you about that. When I left university, Jocelyn, who was typical, he was the professor of drama. He was a lovely fella. He was one of the first people to die of AIDS in this country. He was outrageously homosexual. Fantastic intellect, just a brain of like 15 planets. But he died about a year after I went to left university, and I went to the funeral. And this is when we didn't know what AIDS was, or we all thought it was the gay play. Terrible times. But anyway, I went to the funeral in a pair of tracksuit bottoms, thinking I was like anti-establishment, didn't have to put a suit on. Still to this day, I think you absolute cretin. That's not right, is it? It's disrespectful. It's not about what you want. It's about what you should do for other people. I will talk about my friend who passed away. I said I'd do that. I was going to do it today, but obviously events have superseded it. Hopefully I might do one tomorrow. Although my younger daughter has just said, shall I come and see you tomorrow in Oxford? I'll take you for lunch. That's nice, isn't it? Huh? She says you can bring the dog. Bloody dog. Zelensky, we're running out of comments now, so if you've been trying to get on all afternoon, now you can. But I am finishing soon. Zelensky campaigned for Kamala during the election. I've nearly forgotten about her. He has a lot of making up to do with Trump. Quite frankly, Ukraine need a new leader. That's a good point, Captain. I wondered when somebody would bring that up. I think one way of solving the problem is for Ukraine to have elections immediately. Yeah, as soon as they can. And I think Zelensky has got to stand down. Now, he did say the other day, if me standing down brings peace, I would done it. I would do it. So let's hold him to that. What do you reckon? 213 people watching live. That's fabulous on a Saturday afternoon. Thank you. And I know a load of you are spreading the word or telling other people. It's great. And if you can retweet this video when it goes up, because don't forget, it goes up on Twitter almost immediately. And you can get it everywhere now as well. Just keep sending them out and with your comments on. I love early doors too, says Dunstan Cook. Sometimes people pick up on the weirdest things. John, I saw a post from you recently about losing a friend unexpectedly. Can you do a show? I've just been saying that. Can you do a show about talking about that? Yes, I can. And I was going to do it today. I haven't been strong enough to do it until now. He passed away last Monday and Tuesday. Anyway, you know what it's like when people die. He was a very close friend of mine, but not only was he a close friend for me, he was for lots of other people, and he was like Mr. Coventry, really. Everybody knew him. His name was Nick. I will talk about it. I might just be a little one, like a 10-minute or 15-minute one, but I would like to pay tribute to him, because if I could be half the man he was, I'd be a better man than I am now. And also, I've got a lot to say about death. I was thinking about this the other day. My mum died when I was 11. I'm practicing the act now. My mum died when I was 11, and then my dad, he died tragically when he went at Heathrow, couldn't get a bed because of all the blooming people coming in and playing. Anyway, so yeah, I'm 64 on Monday. So you start to think about these things, don't you? Huh? Things don't stand up the same way. Everything's drooping. Sorry, ladies, if I'm putting off your tea. But I don't know. But on one level, I'm happier than I've ever been. Only in the last few weeks, I've suddenly got into a happy place. And I love doing my podcast. Although not so much to not stop in a minute because I want to get to the off license. Crime won't crack itself, Ken. What does that mean? Where's that from? Rick Medlock says, sorry for the loss, John. Condolences to you and his family. Yeah, well, that's the most important thing. It's not about me, is it? It's about his family. And they're lovely people. Really lovely people. But, yeah. But I've had too many this year, Rick. You're probably the same. I've had too many. I said to my mate Phil the other day, and to Dave, my other mate, I said, we're the only ones left standing. Soon it's going to be like a Friday night. I used to go to a pub called The Oak, and there'd be about 15 of us. Now there's about 3. And I don't think I'm old until I look in the mirror. Look at my hair. Anyway, but we'll talk about that. We might do one on death. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see how I'm feeling in the morning. John, I'm 61 on Friday. A fellow Pisces. Yeah, it's all right for you. You're 3 years younger than me. You're a whippersnapper. Huh? But you can still pull. Joke. Anyway, listen. Thanks very much. Keep the discussion up about Ukraine, because the mainstream media don't want you to know the truth, and they don't want you to discuss it. I've talked about this a lot recently about they don't want pubs open. They don't want people to congregate. They don't want bands to play in the back rooms of pubs. They certainly don't want bands to play in bloody Europe anymore. They made it so difficult. I was a Brexiteer, but that bit needs sorting and needs sorting now. Same with musicians, and well, it's going to affect me as well. I mean, I'm loving AI. Do you see the picture I put up today for this? That's all done on AI. Got Trump and him fighting. But they're now talking about just scraping the information off everybody's songs, everyone's books, everyone's podcasts. Phil, my mate, said to me, you don't need to voice your podcast anymore. You can do it by AI. It wouldn't be the same, though, would it? Because sometimes... Oh, well, in my podcast, I mean, I'll tell you, I had 5 things written down on my phone. I don't even think I've looked at it today. Oh, no. Trump, Vance, can Starmer broker a deal? No effing chance of written. Body bags, because that's what Dougie talked to me about. Germany, Poland, they don't want to be in a peace force. And still depends on the USA. Yeah, sorry, I better make that point. Yeah, all of this BS that's going on, all of this conversation tomorrow, it still relies on Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance saying, okay, we'll be the military backup for it. We'll have our jets there and everything. We're not putting boots on the ground. He's saying that's the thing. People say, oh, Starmer came away, he's such a statesman. He's done this, he's done that. He's got a trade deal. We never got a trade deal. It's not decided. It's not inked at all. Oh, we got this, we got that. No, he didn't. He didn't get anything. He probably got a bag of duty free in one of those big Toblerones as he came back through customs. That'll be about what he got, right? And also, if the rumours were true, he might have brought back something else that he wouldn't have wanted. But anyway, that's something different. What was all that? Just before I went off of that scurrilous bit. What was I just saying to you? Oh, yeah, AI. So now the Labour government are going to allow them to do it. America is saying no. So, like, poor old Paul McCartney, I don't suppose he's short of a bob or two, but somebody can take his voice, take the way he writes songs, and produce a song and say to you, that's Paul McCartney. And it won't be Paul McCartney. It won't have had anything to do with it. He said the other day, oh, somebody's made a song with my voice on it. I knew it was me. He said, but soon I won't be able to know. And that's wrong, isn't it? There's a guy in Coventry, I can't remember his name, Dave, I think it is. He was in a band. They were crap, right? But he's a good songwriter. He wrote a song. You know that song by Annie Lennox, "No More I Love Yous." You know one? Dubba-dubba-doo. It's got that dubba-dubba-doo bit in it. He made millions from that because some rapper just sampled that dubba-dubba-doo and it went platinum or gold or whatever. I can't remember who the rapper was. Yeah. So, but that was his song. So he should get that, shouldn't he? A peace deal was signed in Turkey March 2022. You're right, Mike Pepper. But then along came Boris with 1.5 billion of British taxpayers' money, and he ordered Zelensky to keep fighting. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Early doors reference says lovely lamb lunch. It was yesterday. Fair enough. John, you invite debate on your podcast? I'd love to take part in the future. It's all about opinions and debate and agreeing to disagree at times. A dying trend, unfortunately. Yes, we are going to do that. Technically, it's more difficult than you think it sounds. I am going to do it. I had to get confident of doing. I'm as you know, I'm cock on the north now. I'm dead confident about this now. My own thing. Next thing is to have guests, and I can do that with this technology I've got. They can be in their houses or whatever, and then we'll think about doing live shows where people can either call in or it won't be Skype. Have you seen that? They're scrapping Skype. It's been superseded. I can't keep up with it. I'm 64. I can't keep up with all this crap. Huh? I think I'm turning into one of those blokes in Homeforth. All rappers are ripping off old music and putting a beat to it. Yeah, but is it? See, again, though, you know, I don't know if it's if it's ripping off or whether it's just reinterpreting. Like if you watch the soap operas, I can tell you every single Greek play they're related to because I studied drama and theatre. Or I can tell you which Shakespeare plays because Danny Baker used to say this. Danny Baker says there's no need for any more new music. We've got enough music in the world. And he's kind of right, isn't he? He's kind of right. I mean, the Enemy took that to the nth degree. They just redid the jam songs and pulp songs in their own unique way. Brilliant, but they weren't very original, were they? Oh, dear, that's going to upset some people who will live and die in these towns. Do you have an opinion on Alex Belfield? Yeah, he's a crook, an absolute crook. What he did to people like Jeremy Vine and even to people who I don't like Ian, I can't remember his name, that other 2-bit DJ. It's not right what he did, the way he stalked them. So I haven't got any time for it. I've never heard him. And that's the one, isn't it? Who went to prison. Yeah. And then this person says Danny Baker is God. Or is it good? No, God. Yeah, a nice fella, Danny. I loved his TV series. Yeah. When I was on the dole last time, when I had no money, I had this grotty house in Coventry after I'd been to Scotland and stuff. We just had the baby. And I used to lie in the bath in the morning and he was doing the Radio 5 breakfast show. Radio 5 it might have been the Radio 1 one. But I always remember one day he got kids to get all the tin cans out of their cupboards and pile them high, right, all over the country. And he said, then get your telephone. And when I tell you, push the tins over. It was absolutely brilliant. You had to be there, I suppose. But that's kind of like unique radio. That's the kind of thing Danny Baker could do. Alex Belfield is out in June. Well, is it good? He never tortured me. Or I don't. Maybe he did, and maybe he used a different name. I don't know. But I think it was really did affect people. Like Jeremy Vine was very poorly with it all. So Jeremy Wine, as I call him. I notice he doesn't invite me on his TV program anymore. I wonder why. I wonder why nobody. It's like today. I thought I might get a call today because I'm the only one who's saying I'm in Trump's camp, right? But hasn't happened. Never mind. Hey, never mind, John. Such is life. Right. That's me finished. I'll be back tomorrow then. We might do the death one tomorrow or something else tomorrow. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll have peace in our time. Maybe Sir Keir Starmer will be there. 251. I was only holding on so I could do that. Baker can pack more into a 2-hour show off the cuff than a lot of others do in a lifetime. That's true because he's got lots of stories to tell. He is a funny bloke. Right. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me on a Saturday. Go off and do something interesting now. I'm going to have a steak, but I will be back on tomorrow. Oh, Rick Medlock. Yeah, I'm going to read this because it's about music. The music business has had its day. AI will destroy what's left. Last month, I had a composition that had over 1 million plays in a month. We got 50 quid. Tell me about it. Back in the day, we'd be buying cars and houses. We'd be millionaires, Rick, in a year. Yeah. Evening, John. Have a great weekend. Yeah, well, I will. Hopefully see my other daughter tomorrow. And then the other one come back tomorrow night from Roma. Right. Thanks very much. See you soon. Thanks for supporting me. Please buy me a coffee if you've got a few quid, or at least become a member of my YouTube channel. That's only $1.99. Right. Keep going. You're growing. Am I really? Thank you. See you later. All the best. If you've got kids, give them a kiss. Give them a hug. Don't forget to tell me you love them. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks a lot. Cheers.